For the past 11 weeks, Friday Night Live has been on the road, showing you all of the great matchups in green country football. From century-old rivalries to backyard bowls. You showed us the people and places that make your community unique, along with your pride for your home team. So, from all of us, thank you. Thank you for making the past 11 weeks something special. But before it's all over, we have one final matchup. Tonight, it's a 5A battle between Claremore and the defending state champions from Collinsville. So, let's all say the famous words together. It all kicks off right now on Friday Night Live. Welcome to Friday Night Live, sponsored by U.S. Cellular.
And you heard that right. It is Friday Night Live on Thursday, our Friday Night Live of this season, and we have a busy hour ahead of us. Karen Larson and Caden McFarland are live in Collinsville for their big 5A matchup against Claremore. Justin Ayers is live in Bixby, where the Spartans game against Jinx will be broadcast on ESPN2. A number of schools moved their football games to tonight because of the threat of severe weather tomorrow, and the threat of storms is where we begin. Chief Meteorologist Mike Collier is live in Sapulpa tonight, where they're also getting into the holiday spirit. Mike.
Now, your 2 News Oklahoma First Forecast, sponsored by Executive Homes.
All right, thank you, Naomi. Yeah, you know what? In about 55 minutes, I get to flip the switch to turn on the lights here in Sapulpa. This is my 5th year in a row to do it, and it's always so much fun to look forward to. And I know we're still early in the season, but they have an incredible Christmas shoot that they are debuting as well tonight. That is just spectacular, but we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Let's get to the weather. And the large storm system to our west, the strong potent system to our west, continues to track east, and it's this system that's pulling in the Gulf moisture. It makes it feel like spring outside today, and that's because of those strong south winds and that moisture streaming north. And temperatures have been quite mild, even with the cloud cover. 75 in the metro, Bartlesville at 75, McAllister at 74, and Tahlequah coming in the lower 70s. So as we look at our evening, we are going to see that chance for at least those south winds to continue to be strong. Temperatures slowly only falling down lower 70s through the evening. So great evening to be watching football, and it will be dry. But we are tracking that chance for severe storms tomorrow. We'll talk more about that here in just a few minutes. Let's head on up north to Collinsville for the game of the week.
All right, thank you, Mike. Welcome to Salee Field, home of the Collinsville Cardinals. There is so much to cheer about tonight, Caden. They are taking on their district rivals, Claremore Zebras.
Can you believe this is week 10?
No.
It was 11 weeks ago. It was like 1,000 degrees, and we were just getting this thing started. It's not 1,000 degrees right now. Still relatively warm for this time of year, but that breeze is about to knock us over. Yeah, Collinsville and Claremore, 2 old rivals. It's week 10. You've got teams who are playing for district titles. You got teams jockeying for playoff position. And for a lot of kids out there who have invested so much time into their careers, their high school football careers, they come to an end. The season's come to an end tonight. Week 10 is unique and special. Now, of course, here we are at Salee Field, home of the defending state champion Collinsville Cardinals. They can say that for the first time ever. They're going to go chasing yet another state title beginning next week when the playoffs start, but they are basking in that, Karen. No doubt about that. Coach Kevin Jones, this town, they are as fired up as they have ever been about football because they're on top for at least a few more weeks.
It's a really, really big deal here in Collinsville, you know, first one ever and everything, and that's awesome. We really haven't talked about it, you know, during season because it's, as we tell the kids, it's what have you done for me lately world that we live in. But we're extremely proud of it.
It was fun. That was definitely a good experience, once in a lifetime. Hopefully we can go back and do it again. It's good playing with all my boys again.
And with these Cardinals, the reigning champions, the atmosphere on Friday nights in Collinsville, never better.
The atmosphere is real fun. Everybody in the stands is yelling. Cheerleaders are getting into it. Hear the band. Every minute of the game, they're always in it. It's fun.
Oh, it's a big deal. You know, the stands are full, and you know, the fans are fired up, and it's the biggest show in town. You know, so our fans do a great job of coming out and supporting the team, and they love football in Collinsville.
Both teams are locked into the playoffs. What's at stake for Collinsville tonight? If they win, they are assured a home playoff game next week and second place in district. If they lose, that is not necessarily assured, but of course down the road, about an hour from where we are right now, the game of the night. Jenks versus Bixby, the Spartans, the #1 team in the state with the longest winning streak any Oklahoma high school football 11-man team has ever had, looking to make it 59 wins in a row tonight. Jenks, of course, has won more state titles than anybody else save Ada. It's as good as a matchup gets, so good, in fact, that it's going to be on national TV.
That's right, a big night for them, and our Justin Ayer is covering that for us right now. Justin, how's the turnout already?
I'll tell you right now, we have a while before this game starts. The excitement here, infectious. You got the music on, cheerleaders behind me. The team has taken the field behind me here, both on Jenks and Bixby. We have ESPN. It's senior night. There's a streak on the line, as you guys said. There is a lot going on for this matchup. Now, I actually spoke with a Spartan captain, and he tells me with all of that going on, all this glitz and glamour, they have to stay focused because it could cost them a win.
And the IFB line goes into 4 on IFB line.
You're gonna need the other end.
When ESPN comes to town, it's a big production.
Primary red hat, number 1.
About 24 tech crews set up with audio wires, satellite trucks, and cameras. I spoke with 3-year starter and senior Jacob Snyder, who's staying focused.
There's a lot of rat poison out there. I mean, all the articles about how many wins we have, how many in a row, and all that stuff. We don't really care about that type of stuff.
The 6A1 Bixby Spartans are 9-0 with the longest winning streak in the country at 58 games. But the 6A1 Jenks Trojans, currently 7-2, were the last team to defeat Bixby before the Spartans started the streak in 2018. Snyder says he's going to tell his team before the game starts to not focus on all the cameras, and there are a lot of them. He says he's going to tell them to play like it's any other game.
It's another Friday or Thursday night here, so it's just another game and another week of preparation.
Now, as for the Trojans, just talked with some of them as well. They said pretty much the same thing. They got to keep their composure. They can't let the glitz and the glamour get to them. We're, of course, going to be here. We'll let you know. Karen, we'll send it back to you.
6A games, or you want to watch the 5A here, we have got you covered with Friday Night Live. It's been great covering all the way across the county.
It has.
We've been to so many different cities, and Caden, you've done a great job with all this.
Well, thank you. Who's done a much better job than me? How about the Bixby Spartans? They have been the story of the year here in the state of Oklahoma. Look, let's start with this. Jenks has a shot tonight. They really do. They had a ton of injuries early in the season. We know that they lost to Union 38-3 in the Backyard Bowl, but they're a very different team now than they were then, coming off a dramatic win over Broken Arrow last week, 35-34. That said, it would be a really, really big upset because the Spartans have set the standard that high. They are outscoring opponents by an average score of 68-7. They beat Broken Arrow 77-17 just a few weeks ago. Jenks beat BA by just 1 point last week. That's how good the Spartans have been. We expect this team to move to 10-0. That said, it's the Jenks Trojans, right? The last team to beat Bixby when the winning streak started back in 2018.
It could happen. All right, thanks, Caden. Well, we also, of course, are covering the news of the day for you. So we want to head back to the studio now. That's where our Naomi Kidd is right now to join us. Naomi?
Karen, thank you. Today, Governor Kevin Stitt issued a second stay of execution for death row inmate Richard Glossop. Governor Stitt says he wanted to give the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals more time to complete its review of a petition for a new hearing. He issued the first stay back in August. Glossop was sentenced to death for ordering the beating death of an Oklahoma City man. This is the 6th time his execution date has been stayed or reprieved. Glossop's new execution date is now February 16th of next year. The Broken Arrow Police Department is creating a mounted patrol unit. So instead of canines, some BA officers will have horses. The Broken Arrow City Council approved the new part-time specialty unit of full-time police force officers and their horses. The horses will go through rigorous training before they're ready for patrol. They'll go through different stressors, so when they're out in the field, they won't get scared too easily. The horses will be able to help officers in several different situations, like crowd control, honor guard, community events, and in search and rescue.
Not too long ago, we had a silver alert come out in Broken Arrow near the Greens, the apartments up north. The vegetation was far too dense for people to go through on foot. Was far too dense for a UTV, utility vehicle. These provided us the ability to be up above that vegetation and look down and possibly find pathways that gentleman had taken.
When the horses are deployed for duty, they'll be commissioned as reserve officers. BAPD says equipment for the mounted patrol unit is $15,000 and will be paid for using public safety sales tax funds. The Oklahoma Department of Corrections has 5 new specially trained dogs to keep smuggled items out of facilities. The canines can track down meth, cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. That's typical for drug-sniffing dogs, but these dogs can also find cell phones. All 5 just finished training and they're already getting to work. One of them recently busted almost 3 pounds of pot, 16 pounds of tobacco, and 14 cell phones outside the Oklahoma State Reformatory in Granite. Mike's Friday forecast is coming up. He'll have an update on that chance for severe weather. And coming up, the owners of a Collinsville farmers market are so passionate about what they do, they've changed the law to make their dreams come true. That's a story that's positively Oklahoma, and our Julie Chin shares it next.
Welcome back to our Friday night tailgate and Friday night live coverage. That's the varsity cheer team from the Collinsville Cardinals, and they are here having a great time tonight. They are ready and fired up for the big game. But you know, we also like to cover the community itself. An idea planted on a Collinsville farm is really growing into a booming business on Main Street in Collinsville. And tonight, 2 News Oklahoma's Julie Chin takes us to a farm hippie. It's really a dream come true for a small town business.
It started with us and 5,000 bees in the back of a Chevy Tahoe.
Farm Hippie is a business with a buzzworthy backstory.
We became beekeepers about 5 years ago, and from the beeswax that we harvested, Carrie Beth started using those to make skincare products.
From there, these Collinsville beekeepers grew that business into something special, Farm Hippie.
We're actually a registered farmers market with the Department of Ag in Oklahoma. We just brought everybody indoors, and we're open year-round.
Here, Ash and Carrie Beth Winfield sell their products and help others sell theirs.
You can come and find anything that you find at a farmer's market right here at Farm Hippie. We have everything from fresh milk and dairy, bread. We have a Farm Fresh Egg Co-op that's available, beef producers, pork producers, and then a huge amount of artisans and craftsmen.
And they tell me it's all Oklahoma made or sourced.
We opened about 3.5 years ago with under 40 vendors, and we've grown to over 160 now.
Like 85-year-old wood turner Irvin Robinson, who took up the hobby just 5 years ago.
And I like doing it, keeping me busy, keeping me doing something.
And it's paying off.
Last month they sold 21 of my bowls.
Lori Beth McDonald says her honey sales are sweet too, and selling year-round is a bonus.
It's a game changer that I'm not depending on trying to make that money in a certain part of the year.
When it comes to farmers markets in Oklahoma, Farm Hippie broke the mold. It's the first year-round indoor farmers market in the state. In fact, the owners had to change the law to make that happen.
Making it legal to have an indoor farmers market, making it legal for home-based food producers to bring their product and sell it somewhere outside of an open-air farmers market.
Up next, a nonprofit called Farm Hippie Community Incorporated.
We want to bring back more of that generational heritage. We want to bring back the community education, and we want to do some basics like what are the basics of gardening? How do you extend and how do you can foods so that we have food security.
The nonprofit plans to do that through outreach, education, and programming. Community is the heart of Farm Hippie, and this storefront makes shopping local simple.
Everything in here is made by a neighbor that I want to support.
We're really just a lot of small businesses doing business together.
Farm Hippie, sowing the seeds of peace and love with deep Oklahoma roots.
We have a Farm Hippie family here, so it's a passion of ours, and we're so thrilled to be able to do it.
In Collinsville, Julie Chin, 2 News, Oklahoma.
Don't you love to see their success? Now, Farm Hippie is open 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday. You can find more information on them on our website, KGRH.com, and just click on Positively Oklahoma. I want to thank our varsity cheer team for coming out tonight. They're excited about the big game. We'll hear more about the matchup coming up. We're also going to find out about those storms in the forecast next from Mike Collier.